better be ready because it's like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's up, Petro family?
We are so happy you guys joined Open Mic, ladies. Open Mic with Allie and Michelle. We're so grateful that you're here. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Share this episode because it's bound to go sideways at some point. Allie is still in D.C., so I miss my bestie and my work partner. But she's there doing very big things, which I'm sure we'll get into. What is it like there in D.C., Allie? Are you still here? We heard sirens earlier. Is everything okay?
It's DC. That's all I can say. They go. It's all night. It's insane.
It's insane.
This is Gotham. It is, and everybody's villain.
Everybody's a villain. Well, she said it. I didn't. We've got a lot to talk about today and cover, including the reason why Allie is in D.C., which we'll get to. Obviously, went to the White House yesterday. She'll share her story. Plus, when Trump's getting involved, posting a lot about the Save America Act, you know that it is time. We'll talk a little bit about Harmeet Dhillon. She was at the Supreme Court and arguing, get this, that election day means one freaking day. Not a season. The fact that you need a law degree to say that for people to take you serious is crazy. Plus, J.D. Vance is going to give a rundown on what's happening in Iran. We've also got some breaking news. So, you ready, Allie?
Yep, let's open that mic.
Take 'em back on freedom, back to where we started. We're wearing our red hat tonight. It takes more than just a feeling. Oh, better be believing, and America's gonna be home.
What do you do when they try to cancel you? MAGA Nation, we cancel proof. My red hat stays on. My red hat stays on. You know I love God, but in Trump I trust. November 5th, he gon' ride with us. Our red hat stays on. Our red hat stays on. It's the mayor of MAGAville, the RNC King. 2024, freedom gon' ring. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. I'm still fighting for each one of you. And keep your red hat on.
Welcome, welcome, guys. We're so grateful that you joined us. Thank you to our Talk Red family that's growing and expanding the Open Mic with Allie and Michelle Reach. We're grateful. Allie, what's the weather like there? Are you getting a little bit of spring, or is it still winter?
Absolutely no spring. It's cold.
How's your Florida blood handling it?
No, it's actually not that bad. It really isn't. I'm enjoying the contrast.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's always nice knowing that you're coming back to the most beautiful beaches in the United States and the Gulf Coast of Florida.
Though.
Yeah,
part.
absolutely. Well, in case you're wondering what's brought Allie, across the Eastern Seaboard, I guess, she attended the Black History Month event at the White House. Take a look at how packed this room was, Allie. I think we've got just a little clip of it.
In the East Room this afternoon for an event marking
Yeah,
Black History
it was,
Month.
I
I'm gonna take you
mean-
there live. You can see there's a very large crowd gathered in the East Room at the White House right now, so we'll take you over there
East
when
Room of
that
the White
gets
House.
underway. And also this afternoon.
Yeah.
When President Trump came out, obviously the entire room erupted because they just love him. We all just love him. He's a great guy and has done so much for Black Americans, which is just, I mean, it's more than any other president. And well, in recent past, I don't want to say ever, but in recent past.
Yeah, right, in recent past.
We had some great speakers. And he had mentioned that he's waiting to get the ballroom finished so that we could actually have the event in the ballroom. So
That's pretty cool, which we did see the construction of that because there is a really nice little speakeasy, I guess, on like the top of another building across the way where you can have a nice little drink and overlook the White House. And Allie celebrated her birthday there because what Allie wants, Allie gets. So, but take a look at, this is Allie outside of the eastern, I guess the east wing of the White House there. Looking beautiful as always.
thank you. It was so nice and just so
You
blessed
saw a lot
and
of people
honored
there,
to
right?
be there. I did. I saw a lot of people. I mean, you had Rob Smith there. You had, that is my girl. She's from Chicago. She is Chicago Red. She is really working hard, boots on the ground, to get Chicago to flip red. She's gone completely viral doing these videos where she goes to city council meetings and county commission meetings, and she's speaking about illegal immigration and how Democrats are not following through with what they've said, and that's why everyone's turning red and they support Trump, they support ICE and all of these things that keep our communities safe. So
Right.
he is a
That's
force to be
cool.
reckoned with. And that's Xavier. He is
Yes.
a wonderful influencer. He does all of these funny videos. He's like, girl, we need to collab. And I'm like, yes,
Yes.
okay. It was so funny.
Yes,
He
he's
is
very funny.
amazing.
He's a good
And
one.
my girl, Kimberly Klasick. Oh, I love her. She's amazing. She ran for Congress in Baltimore. She was the one wearing the red dress with the red heels and like was walking down the streets
Yes.
of Baltimore, and she was showing all of the
Great
destruction.
marketing.
Like,
Great
this is
marketing.
what you've been voting for, and they've never done anything for you. Put me in Congress and I'll make a difference. And she didn't
Yes.
win, but she is a political commentator. She has her own show. I believe we actually go live at the same time.
Nice.
But it's really
Okay.
cool, and we have a lot in common, and so we had a few discussions, and she's great. A good
That's
friend, a good
amazing.
friend.
That's
And
amazing.
that's Rob Smith right there. He's a prior service veteran. I believe it's Navy, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, he's just awesome. Every time I see him, he's like, "Hey, girl," and he gives me a hug and we talk, and it's great. I love
That's
it. I love
amazing,
it.
Allie. Awesome.
And that is, oh my gosh, Deontay. So he's a part of the Black Conservative Federation. And he
Nice.
has built it over 10 years, and they have a lot of members. It's grown. But they push initiatives that, protect our country. And they work hand in hand with the RNC. And they are trying to really save 2026. They want boots on the ground. They want door knockers. They want people to
Right.
donate for door knockers because sometimes you got to pay them.
Well, the minority vote, the minority vote turned out in 2024
Absolutely.
for Trump, but what we sometimes see is once we get across the finish line like that, people will
They
become
fade off.
apathetic a little bit. Yeah, so I'm glad
Yeah,
that
and
he's
he,
working.
yeah, he gave an amazing speech at the RNC after party. Well, the at the White House after party, it was like through the RNC. And they gave a wonderful man an award of freedom, I believe it was. It was really amazing. He's been a part of just politics forever, like maybe 20, 30 years, and he's made a
Nice.
huge difference, especially within the Black conservative community. And we heard some speeches at that event as well, where they're just saying like, we've always been conservative, and Black Americans
Yes. Oh
have
my
been a
goodness.
part of the
Yes.
revolution for such a long time. I mean, we had a hand in the revolution, which I don't like calling it that, but that's what it is. It was a fight for our sovereignty. So yeah, and
Well,
then there was
and yeah, go
my
ahead. Sorry.
favorite girl,
Erica.
Erica Donalds. Yes,
Erica
she's
Donalds.
become a good friend as well, and so it was really nice to see her there and to get a nice little photo with her. We had a little conversation about, just social media, and our Florida boy Bernie Jacks. Yes,
Bernie Jocks.
he was there. I walked in and I'm standing there because I have like friends of mine. Like I got Topher who does music, and he's part of
Yes.
like Blexit and TPUSA, and he's blown up with Solomon Ray. If you've ever heard of it, you need to go download it. Jesus in My Coffee.
Good
Go
stuff.
get you some Solomon Ray. It's great. But
We
also,
listen to it on the way to events,
we
don't we, Allie?
really do. I love it. It's my favorite song. But I'm standing there and I look over and I'm like, Bernie. And he's like, Allie. And I'm like, hey, how you doing? How long are you here for? He's like, oh, I just flew up today and I leave tonight, because I have
Because
votes
that's how it
tomorrow.
works.
And
Yep.
I'm like, oh my gosh, always busy. And then he's like
Because he's
this.
got to get back to session.
I'm
Absolutely.
like,
But
are you working? He's like, always working, always working. It was so funny.
hey, if this thing is following you, we are always, always working. Well, Allie, I love that you. Oh, go
Look at
continue.
that.
Oh, I know who
Terrence.
this is. Terrence. Oh my gosh, he's
Cousin
hilarious.
Teas. Guys, go get you some Cousin Teas. He's got pancakes, he's got syrup, he's got all the things. It is so good. Waffle mix, all of it.
Yep.
When they took down Aunt Jemima for
Yep. He
um,
said no.
yeah, he was like, absolutely not. And he's a comedian. He does great stuff. He really does. He's great. So go follow him. And
Yeah.
Scott Turner. So excited to meet him.
Allie,
was really
are you
good.
blushing? Wait, are you blushing? No.
No, because you know me, I'm not starstruck. I don't get like that. It was really nice to meet people that have an understanding of proper roles and responsibilities,
Yeah.
and an
Oh, good.
understanding of what our country is up against and what we've been dealing with the
Yes.
prior administration, and to know that they really do aim to make a change and they're not willing to back down. And that is why I get
Absolutely.
kind of giddy. You know what I mean? Because
Absolutely, Allie.
you're around movers and shakers and people that actually stand 10 toes down on principle, and
Mm,
that matters.
that's amazing. Look at
Oh my
that
gosh, and
spread.
the food was awesome. I mean, that room was packed all day, but it was it was great. It's so beautiful.
Allie, is it as beautiful in person as it appears? Because sometimes photos don't do it justice. So,
Yes, it
yeah,
is. It's
nice.
100%. And I was
It's a
so
piece of
mad because we
history.
ended up coming in a different way, so I couldn't get a photo of the auto pen, which I really wanted to get a picture of the auto pen on the
The
wall.
46th president of the United States, the auto
Yes.
pen. Yes,
Yes,
I
because I
agree.
think that's hilarious and perfect trolling. But no, it because of all of the construction, we just were not allowed to come in that way. So and then I saw someone, I think it was Xavier who took a picture with the fight, fight, fight photo
Yeah. Mm.
after Trump was shot. So, and I like totally didn't even think about that. I was just so engulfed with just being in the moment. And
Yes, you have to
again,
be in the
being,
moment, right? Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
there's nothing like it. And I get a little choked up because I feel so blessed. And a lot of us are hated on. Like I have a friend of mine we were having dinner afterwards, and we're all sitting around. There's like six, seven of us, eight of us, maybe. God, I did it, six, seven. Anyway, there, there were, there were a bunch of us, and we were talking, and he's just getting all kinds of hate, like you're a coon, you're a this, you're a that, and how can you support a man that does this and does that? And we're like, guys, we're at the White House, like I don't understand the cognitive dissonance, and it's just it's an amazing experience, and I'm blessed to
Well,
have him.
Allie, and I'm glad you brought it up because we will get to some of the videos from that day, from yesterday. But you hit on a very delicate subject that we have to continue to talk about, and that is they do call Trump a racist. That's what the left has done. The Black Collective really spoke out in 2024 and voted him in. But take a look at this. This is the Trump nominated this woman as attorney, I guess you could say federal attorney, Sharia Clark. She's now a federal judge, and this is not only is she African American, but she is young, and I think that's so cool that I don't know if we have the picture or not, but it was funny because somebody had posted, do you congratulate this woman or disrespect her because she was selected by a Republican? And
Right.
that is the funny thing. And we're about to see this, y'all, in the state of Florida with Byron Donalds and his run for governor. When the Republican Party largely elects the first, I think he's the first, don't quote me on that, black
He is. He would be the
governor
first black. He would be the
in the
first
state
black
of
governor.
Florida, what are the Democrats going to do? Have a little tiffy? I
They
don't know.
are, and they're gonna call him all kinds of names. But this is what happens when you don't understand proper history. Black Americans and African Americans have always been Republican. The
Martin Luther
first,
King.
I mean, it was even before that. It
Yeah.
was way before that. The first, I think it's like the first 18 or 23 congressmen in the
Hmm.
1800s were black.
Yeah.
Like you have to learn your history properly and what took place in our country and how that worked. And the reason why we had slavery and well the civil rights movement was because we had immoral people that took the Constitution out of context. We didn't really need another amendment saying that one, that women could vote because means all, equal
Right.
means equal, right? We didn't
Yeah.
really need an amendment saying that black people had the right to vote. They already had it within our Constitution, but we had
I love that.
misapplication of the Constitution in order for them to, and you had governors, like largely we see now, governors who took their own ideas and implemented it within their own states, and irregardless of what the Constitution said. So,
Does this seem eerily familiar, guys? I mean, why do we
yeah,
need a Save America Act to reiterate the fact that we should have voter ID and only U.S. citizens should vote? But again, because people in states have largely taken the Constitution out of context, and so again, you have to enshrine things in law. Allie, I want to pivot a little bit to some of the people that were in the room speaking that I know you took time to listen to. This is a story of one mom's heartache, and listen to her commend Donald Trump for giving a sort of a national school choice platform. Listen to her.
My son was in a school that he didn't have any voice, and he found drugs in school, and he died. And so I'm here today to just show my appreciation for all the moms around the world. We have a choice now. This choice is so important to mothers. I have a child that, because I had a choice, she's in private school. She's thriving. She's thriving. She's going to be an anesthesiology nurse, and she's doing great. And ACE scholarships was a big part of that. Changing education changes everything.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Changing education changes everything. In my zip code, it feels like we were locked in a cage, and being locked in a cage and can't get out. And because of all of the things that you're doing for education, now we can get out and soar. Our children can have a chance to be prosperous just like other children. And I thank you for that. This is a great opportunity. So on behalf of all the mothers all around the world, I stand here and I give you your flowers while you can still get them. Thank you. I appreciate you. Give me a hand.
That's amazing. You know, and she says something there. She's talking about, obviously, school choice. And that's not to say that in some districts, the public school system, the traditional public school system wouldn't be the right choice. That's not to say that we can't collectively make the public school system the right choice if we do the right things. But what she's talking about reminds me of, you know, when Democrats sit here and fight, and the left consistently fights against school choice. It reminds me of a Democrat governor who stood at the schoolhouse doors and didn't want to integrate schools.
Right.
What is wrong with taking education into the new century? What is wrong with allowing parents the right to choose? If the public school system is doing what they are supposed to be doing, it will be the most competitive. You've got the most history in education than these other charters and private schools that are newly popping up. You've got the history. And you've had the tools. Like, so what she's saying, I think, just it should shatter every bubble that the left has tried to place around traditional schooling and saying that school choice is not a viable option. So I love that.
Yeah, and she had everyone in tears. I mean, it was such a touching testimony from her.
Yeah.
And the fact that we have so much pushback from so many different facets of Americans, it's really heartbreaking to see when they refuse to listen to someone's own testimony about how President Trump has led the way in so many different avenues that will help Americans rise. And
Right.
he is the greatest president of our time. The greatest
He
president.
is. You know, if you think about it, if people throughout the course of history were so accepting of the status quo and the way things are, there's so many things in this world that we would not have today if it wasn't for ingenuity, if it wasn't for people thinking outside the box, if it wasn't for people seeing the way things are done and envisioning the way they could be. And I think to not do that with education is completely asinine. It is like the worst of the worst. It is like placing education in a prison and saying, this is because I'm comfortable with it because this is the way it's always been done. What mindset does that sound? That is a plantation mindset.
And that was said a lot yesterday. A lot. Like everybody. And then I walked around the room and I should have brought my freaking like comms. Because I walked around the room and I was like, so, do you have an ID? Can you know
To get in here?
Can
You mean
vote?
all of us minorities who aren't really minorities are, you can all
Right,
get
like,
IDs? How
literally
many of them are
over-
women?
Like over 200 people, in order for them to go into the White House, had to produce an ID. And some kind of documentation that they are, one, citizens, because you have to fill out that form that you are a citizen in order for you to go. And then you have to show proof of ID. Like, what are we talking about here, Dems? What's wrong with y'all?
Well, and I love it. Another business owner thanked Trump. It's a short video, but I think it's very heartfelt. Take a look at this.
I am here today to just tell you that No Tax on Tips has been an amazing blessing for me. President Trump has been an amazing blessing for me. And at the end of the day, Jesus has been an amazing blessing for me.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. everybody that got on the podium was praising the Lord. It was like church in there. I was like, oh.
Did you expect anything less? I
No,
love that.
not at all. I mean, not at all. It was so great. It was amazing. And then we had, oh my gosh, I know we're gonna play this clip, but she was
Oh yeah,
just
we'll get to it. But
fire.
you mentioned that it felt like church in there. Hey, you know who else turned out for the 2024 election? Our Christians and our people of faith. And I think they're engaged. I think there's been some shifts in culture. There's been a few pastors across the nation that have taken the arrows for everybody else to all of a sudden feel like, wait a minute, this is kind of trending now for me to come out and talk about policy from the pulpit. Because again, back, if you know your history, and especially if you know your biblical history, back in the day, y'all, they required the church, they required the elders to speak on policy because that is how the public understood which way to go. The fact that we now think that's something that should be separated is a lie from the pit of hell. That is not what's required. And I'm thankful, guys, if you are somebody that's a believer and you're like, I don't do politics. Yes, you do. Go read the words written in red. You absolutely do. And Jesus had a lot to say. He had a lot to say about the Pharisees and Sadducees of their time. You should have a lot to say as well.
Yep. Again, another topic that was talked about in all the rooms we were in yesterday. So
yes, they care and they get it. They care and they get it. So Allie, this next video it's a little bit lengthy, but as I'm sure Allie would vouch for, it's about 2.5 minutes. I want to play it in its entirety because if this isn't the grandma of the nation, and every grandma out there, every grandparent, you got to listen to this. And then Allie, I want your reaction because I know you were there when it happened. Let's take a listen.
Come on in.
First of all,
Thank
can
you.
I have a hug?
Yes, you can. Thank you, God. That's so nice. Thank you. I like her. Please.
I like him too. One thing I like about him, he keeps it real just like Grandma. I appreciate that because I can trust him because he tells exactly how he feels and what he thinks. Thank God for this president. I am filled, my cup runneth over. Because he allowed his constituents, his people to come to my house to interview me, to talk about the murder of my grandson. It seemed like nobody cared. I'm an advocate for murder. I marched. I rallied. I pulled out other families in the District of Columbia that had murders and did not have answers. Ooh. We marched and we rallied, and nobody heard me, Democrats. Get mad at me. Until this Republican sent his constituents, his people out there to interview me in my home. Have you ever heard of a thing? Then they invited me twice before Congress to testify for the beautiful bill that's going to change crime in the district. If you kill somebody, okay, you take a life, you do life. Just that simple. If you do a harsh crime, you do harsh time. Just that simple. And then we need National Guard, and which we did years ago. He brought it on. I love him. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say about that racist stuff. And don't be looking at me on the news hating on me because I'm standing up for somebody that deserves to be standing up for. Get off the man's back. Let him do his job. He's doing the right thing. Back up off of him. And Grandma said it.
We gonna scrap for our president. He got done speaking, and it reminded me of DeSantis after I spoke at a press conference, and he was like, "What is she running for? You have my full endorsement. Whatever you run."
Yes.
It was just amazing.
DeSantis was like, well, whatever Allie needs, we're just gonna give it to her because that was really. I was there. I was there when you spoke.
But that's what president.
I was there when you spoke, Allie, and I remembered going, if she can do it, I can do it.
Oh, wow.
And that is, listen, when this woman stands there in the White House and says, get off my back for trying to call me a racist because I stand up for somebody who happens to be lighter skinned and is a Republican. Get off my back and let him work. And I think every American feels that. You should. Otherwise, you need to check your pulse. And I just.
Well, and she told everybody to get off his back. She looked like she was about to scrap. I'm like, okay, Grandma. She was amazing. And everybody called her Grandma. She's America's grandma. Awesome.
But this is also, I mean, you know, if we could just take a second to talk about this, because what Allie and I do a lot and what we do very well is we put out call to actions for our community, whether it's our local district or statewide or nationwide, because there is a part that you play in this, and you don't have to spend your whole day doing it like Allie and I do. There's just a part that you have to play. But how many of us around the world, let's not say world, around the nation, and especially here in Florida, how many of you consider yourself either partially retired or you're like, I've raised my kids, now I've got grandkids, and you're in this delightful part of your life? So is this woman. And because the failed policies of the radical left and the do-nothing Democrats came to her doorstep and affected her grandson's life, she's now forced to take a leadership role in fighting. Don't wait until it comes to your doorstep. You have something to do. Do you have a phone? Allie and I lots of times put out call to actions. You can go to thehollowalliance.com. We list the phone numbers and even what to say. And all you have to do is call and say, this is what I'm in favor of. This is what I'm not. Please move. 20 minutes a day to shape your nation before it comes to your doorstep. I found her extremely, extremely exhilarating.
Oh, gosh. And I hope she does run for something.
And she lives in D.C., right? So that would be amazing. Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
And you know what's interesting is I did speak to a lot of people, and they just don't have that political bug to run for something. They'd rather just build the grassroots underneath it all and build it from the bottom and be influential in that way, because a lot of times that's the easiest way. I mean, we spoke about gatekeepers. I mean, I spoke about that with Kim Klacik and a couple of others. And it's a real thing. It's a real thing. And that's what our classes are for. It's what we teach people. They're coming. I promise. We'll get it together this summer.
Absolutely.
Where we teach that. But yeah, Allie, had an amazing time.
Well, I'm glad you're in those rooms. You're making a lot of difference, but I can't wait to have you back here tomorrow for open mic. But guys, before we go to a commercial break, we did our tech team here in the room. Thank you, Kevin. Kind of alerted us that just before we went on the air live, we do have some breaking news for you guys. To quote Nick Sorter, "Holy crap!"
Uh-oh.
Former Prince Andrew has been arrested by British police following revelations that were newly released in the Epstein files. I'm not going to show you the photo, but there's photos. It does not listen. You can't explain this away. And so a lot of people have been saying, this is great. When are we going to see that on our turf? Thomas Massey, who I don't always really agree with, but he said, this was part of the success of the Epstein Files Transparency Act. He's urging, the FBI under Kash Patel and Attorney General Pam Bondi to see similar things here. I think, Allie, you even, when we were talking about it in the pre-show, you're like, we will. We will.
We will. I'm pretty sure we will. I don't think President Trump is going to allow anyone that harms children in this way to get away with it. And Anna Paulina Luna has been kind of really blowing the whistle about this. She was like, certain people on this list have exchanged testimony for the label of victim. And they were the ones who were recruiting these children.
Yeah, absolutely. And Allie, if anybody out there has ever thought, this doesn't seem so much like right versus left or red versus blue or Republican versus Democrat. It's right versus wrong. It's good versus evil. If you're not somebody who understands that or believes that, you will be chilled to your bone about what's coming out in the Epstein files. It has been satanically driven, evil, and there has to be that accountability. There has to be that accountability.
Disgusting.
It is disgusting. Guys, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with a lot more. Open mic ladies have a lot more to say. You're not going to want to miss it right after this commercial break. We'll see you.
From the heart of Marietta, Georgia, comes a tribute to the spirit of liberty. Liberty Cigars, where history meets craftsmanship. Each cigar tells a story. The Founders Collection honors the visionaries who shaped a nation. The President's House Collection celebrates the leaders who steered it. And the Naval Series salutes the heroes who defended it. Handcrafted with precision, each blend mirrors the essence of its namesake. From the boldness of George Washington to the elegance of Thomas Jefferson. Indulge in a moment of reflection. Light a Liberty cigar and savor the legacy. Discover your story at libertycigars.com because every great nation deserves a great cigar. Liberty Cigars, smoke the history. And don't forget to use promo code OPENMIC for 10% off your order.
Welcome back to Open Mic with Allie and Michelle. If you're not already, make sure you follow at Real Allie Leger because you would see all the updates from the White House as they're happening because she's in there like just working away. Make sure you follow at Michelle Posey, at Open Mic Ladies on all platforms. Allie, let's pivot a little bit to something that you've been talking about forever. We've been talking about it forever. Now it's catching, it's growing wings of its own, and that is the Save America Act. Obviously, the third time passed through the House. We're now calling on senators to push through the Save America Act. Are you exhausted yet, Allie?
It is extremely frustrating. And that was also a conversation that was had in all the rooms that we were in. Is what is the hang up? I was asked to, like, Allie, what do you think the hang up is? And I'm like, I honestly don't know. But it doesn't matter what the hangup is. It matters if we're able to wield our political pressure at the appropriate political pressure point. That's what matters. So, yes, while we're out here doing social media, we're influencers and we're doing this and we're doing that, we're invites to the White House, we need to make sure that we're actually making those phone calls and giving our audience the calls to action because not everybody does that. These political commentators that are on Fox News, that are on their own independent channels, they don't ever do that. And it took Nick Shirley, it took Chad Caton, it took Nick Sorter, and it took others that I can't remember their names off the top of my head. I know, like, they're called, they're I know their other names. Like, I don't know.
Their tags, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it took them to actually be boots on the ground to blow the whistle on what was going on with Democrat Tifa, and how they were just like protesting in front of ICE and causing all this havoc. Not even protesting, but just causing havoc. You know, it took them to actually get some of these bigger names out there, boots on the ground. But when it comes to taking a participatory role in our own governance, because we have given our consent to be governed, that's the point.
Yeah. Ooh,
so we need to make sure we're making those phone calls.
Well, when I see things floating around out there on social media, and then I see that Trump has shared it, especially when he's done it on Truth Social, because that seems to be, if you can imagine him going a little more unhinged, that usually happens on Truth Social first. He has reposted, you know, this is John Solomon, who we love. He's done a great job. He's being interviewed, and he's talking about, you know, a lazy GOP as far as the senators. Not all senators, but you'll notice the same names are always the holdouts. And yes, it is our duty to drag them across the finish line to get things done. But then you've got to think when primaries roll around, if you're exhausted, American public, from trying to get senators to do the right thing, maybe you choose a different choice. Take a listen to what he had to say and what Trump reposted.
Now we have a bunch of lazy senators who want to threaten the filibuster and not get off their feet and talk and really represent the people and stand for what they believe in. And all the American people are asking John Thune to do is to restore the Senate to the way it used to work before Mitch McConnell's lazy filibuster ideas kind of came into play. And I think that the American people are going to be there. Here's what I think is going to happen, Dan. And I think you probably know some of this because you had a foresight into some of the things that the Bureau now knows that was kept from the American public. I think Donald Trump is going to change the narrative in America. I think he's going to change some senators' minds, and he's going to do it by revealing some of the things that Chris Wray and that Chris Krebs and other major officials who were in charge of the integrity of our elections and who told us it was a perfect election in 2020. he's going to start revealing some of the intelligence that was kept from the American people. And we're going to see that our foreign adversaries have monkeyed with our system more than we knew, more than those driver's licenses coming into Chicago that you helped get all of us to understand about a few months ago. China sending fake driver's licenses to help Joe Biden in. There are going to be significant efforts by foreign powers, some friends, some enemies, that were trying to meddle in the system, and they got pretty far down that path. And I think when senators realized their state could have been targeted.
So he goes on, yeah. So do you see what's happening, guys? There is revelation, largely been prayed for by people just like you and I. I mean, we pray for it in our lives, but we pray for it in our government. At least we should be. When that revelation is exposed, and you can take it and you can message it and bring it to people, that's how you shift culture. In 2020, in 2021, Allie, we were called every name in the book, not just by Democrats, for questioning something stinks here with the election process. We were also called that by establishment Republicans, election deniers, even though I can go back 20 years to Democrats saying sometimes the same things about the way our system has been working. It just, if it doesn't work for you, then, if it works for you, then you don't call it out. That's not how this works.
Right.
And I think this is what Trump does well. This is what every person running for office or currently elected to office or that seeks to be elected to office, you need to study the art of this deal. What Trump is doing is he is pushing for transparency, and as soon as he gets it, he delivers the message to the people so he can shape the message and culture. It's historic.
I like that he said that the American people are frustrated with Leader Thune because he will not and does not want to return the Senate back to the way it used to function before the filibuster. It's lazy.
Thanks, Mitch McConnell.
It's lazy. It is lazy. The Senate was not built as a bottleneck of conjecture. It was built to debate. That's what it was built for.
And arguably, I mean, in the foundation of our nation, when they were building what this government would look like, there was a disagreement between the founding fathers. Do we want a parliamentarian style like what we just escaped from? Do we want to dream up something new that's kind of more across the board, evenly split? And what they gave us was something that's conceptualized so new. It's never been done before. You're living the biggest experiment that mankind has ever had. They gave us a little bit of both. What the Senate was made to do by giving us, regardless of state size, regardless of state population, by giving us 2 senators, what that was meant to do was be the equalizer. And it's frustrating to see it used the way it is, Allie. You're absolutely right.
I agree. And we need to make sure that we continue to put pressure on Senator John Thune to bring it to the vote, bring it to the floor for debate. If it's not going to pass a vote, bring it to the floor for a debate. End of story, period. That's it.
End of story. And we're going to, I'm going to work on getting his number so before the end of the day of the show we can get it to you. I do want to show you Scott Pressler's now taking the message. Now here's why this hits Scott Pressler so personally, because as Allie and I have been talking about this for the last year, Scott Pressler, right before the election, made it his mission to hit swing states and to guard what was taking place with the elections, but to also get the vote out, to inspire people to come out to vote. So he's done all of this. He's monitored what's been taking place in the swing states, which is why Trump was so wonderfully successful. Because again, when you know somebody's watching you, you tend to all of a sudden do the ethical and right thing. So for him not to be able to see this put across the finish line, it's personal. Take a listen to a little bit of what he said.
I have a bone to pick. And I was just in D.C. yesterday outside of John Thune's office, Senator John Thune. Listen, we just gave Republicans everything on a golden platter.
Yes.
We gave them the House. We gave them the Senate. We gave them the White House. We won everything for the Republican Party. Okay, I love that we are securing the border.
Mm-hmm.
I love that illegal immigration is at its lowest point in modern history. I love that we are deporting criminal illegal aliens. I love that President Trump is trying to get peace in the Middle East and trying to stop the Ukrainian-Russian conflict, and he's bringing down gas prices, etc. I think Americans want more deportations, so I'm glad that Kristi Noem is going to be hiring more ICE agents and they're ramping that up. I think that's one thing the American people want more of. They want more of economic relief, which I think President Trump is working on via, I think deportation is important. But where's the SAVE Act? Where is election security? Where is election?
His frustration is the same as all Americans. Like, what the hell? We gave you everything. You literally got elected because you rode President Trump's coattails, and now you're sitting in office and you want to drag your feet? And then you call us problem children because we're calling you out on it politely?
What do they call it? Black pilling? It's not black pilling. It's reality pilling.
And it's not even that. It's like, it's do your job. Do the job you were hired to do. Like, this should not be a conversation.
But Allie, do you think in the middle of this culture shift of, oh my gosh, they're awake now, the American people understand, do you think there's growing pains with some that are elected, especially when you see their age and the number of years they've been in office? Do you think they're kind of sitting there a little bit like, what's changing? Like, I'm just trying to do what I've always done. It's not going to work anymore. It could be difficult. You're seeing a pivot, and I know we use that word a lot, but you're seeing a pivot that I think this is the new norm, is going to be this type of pressure.
You know what, Michelle? I have come to realize that people tend to do things that they've always done the way they've always done it because it's comfortable.
Yeah.
They don't like feeling uncomfortable. They don't like the pressure of doing something new. They don't like the feeling of walking on unsteady ground. But if you really do have a strong faith in God and that you are held and called, you will walk on any ground, whether it's shaky, whether it's water, no matter what it is, you will move, even if it's uncomfortable. Because if you don't move, you risk falling.
Well, and if you don't move under the anointing of God, you lose that anointing. And, you know, God searched the earth and couldn't find anybody. I don't want that to be 2026. I don't want that to be the reality that we live. If we're going to be the people that step up to fill these seats and that occupy the territory that's put before us, there comes a heavier burden. There comes a higher calling to do it right. And if you don't, you're not just messing up our government or our republic, you're doing it after you were given the anointing to do it. And that is answering to a higher calling. I do not want to stand on Judgment Day and say, thank you, Lord, for all that you've entrusted to me. I fumbled it. I don't. And they shouldn't want to either.
Bro,
you know what I mean? That is a fumble.
This whole fumbling conversation, like, I'm so over it. I'm so over it.
It resonates on so many levels, doesn't it?
Like, stop doing the things you've always done. Just stop doing the things you've always done, because you'll just get the same results you've always gotten.
And that's insanity.
Exactly.
Don't fumble your work. Don't fumble your relationships. Don't fumble when you're elected to office. Like, just hold the ball tightly.
This is not difficult. It's not hard. Like, I get it. Being uncomfortable is hard. Like, I'm not saying that because it's easy for us to say because we've already been there. We already know what it's like to be uncomfortable, and yet we still walk. We still do it. We do it anyway because we know at the end of the day, the blessing comes when you follow it. Like, that's just how that works. So it is. People just, okay.
It is. Well, I'm going to skip, I'm going to fast forward a little bit because I want to make sure we get to the Harmeet Dhillon story. Harmeet Dhillon is now she's the Assistant Attorney General. Nobody is really reporting on this. I had to search, Allie, to get some context to what was going on in the Supreme Court. So I want you to take a look at this post. Harmeet Dhillon, she's the Assistant AG, as we said. She argued before the SCOTUS, the Supreme Court, that election day literally means one election day. I mean, what? Like, make it make sense. Not weeks or months of early voting and endless counting. I mean, this is how some states can't really report their total election results until months after the election. She said, election day means election day. Proud to have co-authored this brief, this amicus brief, with our colleagues in the Solicitor General's office. She's got the guts, I would say something else, but to be able to do this. But did you hear about this on Fox News? I can't find this anywhere. I will say Fox News did put something out in print, which is a little different, just watered it down and said election integrity groups press the Supreme Court to require ballots by election day. But there was some good video footage, and they didn't get any of it. So
why are they not reporting on this? Like, are both sides complicit?
Because again, Allie, what were we called after questioning results from 2020 from both sides of the aisle? Think about the mouthpieces that were in Congress, Mike Pence and others, that couldn't even, your job is to ask the question and to scrutinize the results and to not authenticate those results and send them back to the state to do their jobs, to make sure that you make sure. Listen, we might move at a really fast pace in all areas of our life. We might be racing to get to work. We might have a deadline to file taxes. We might be hurrying and rushing for all kinds of things. The one thing you don't rush is certifying an election, when constitutionally you're meant to take a second and sometimes third look at things. It really, Mike Pence is like, he's on a list for me of like, if I meet you, we're going to have a conversation.
I'm sure you would, but it also shouldn't take 2.5 weeks for you to vote. Or like a month.
And I do not consent to a third party being involved in my election system, aka the United Postal Service. I mean, do you wrap a $100 bill not even wrap it, do you shove a $100 bill in an envelope and mail it? I'm not talking about like throwing our United Postal Service under the bus. I'm talking about just seeing that through an envelope and trusting that it's getting to where it's supposed to be. Or do you say, no, don't do that? Well, why? Because it's like outsourcing my vote to somebody else. And I understand we have people in the military and people that are homebound, and that is supposed to be the exception to the rule. But this mass, like almost like Amazon Day, where everybody's just like sending their ballots, and like, come on, guys, come on. It was never intended to be that.
It's terrible. It wasn't intended to be that way. And I agree. I think it should be one day. But there is arguments for saying that it shouldn't be. But look.
Well, and listen.
Yay.
If you choose to vote by mail, and I know even here in the state of Florida, the Republican Party is saying get your mail-in ballot just in case. You can always fill it out and take it with you that day. But here's what I'm going to say. If you choose to vote by mail, you should be responsible enough to get that ballot there in enough time for it to make it on election day. Otherwise, why did we spend years in grade school and middle school trying to turn in assignments on a deadline? If only we became adults that don't understand deadlines. Like,
it's cognitive dissonance. That's all. That's all. It's cognitive dissonance.
Well, Allie, did you know, guys, that the left and Whoopi Goldberg, all of a sudden, it's like they woke up, and all of a sudden they understand being innocent until proven guilty. Not when it comes to Donald Trump or to the Trump administration or even those of you who sit on the left side of the aisle, but because Whoopi Goldberg's name is in the Epstein files and she wants to defend herself, as she should. Take a listen.
Now, in the name of transparency, can you put up my name is in the files? Yes. And what does it say? It says, Whoopi needs a plane to get to Monaco. John Lennon's charity, it should say Julian Lennon's charity, is paying for it. They don't want to charter, so they're looking for private owners. Here's the info. And they give all the information, and they're saying, do you want to offer your G2? Okay.
And it looks like they said no thanks.
Yeah.
So in other words, anybody can be on
anybody's. Well, this is my.
So, it was just about chartering a plane. First of all, I don't know many people well enough that I could ask for their plane like that. So I would imagine there's some level of comfort and camaraderie and business dealings enough between Whoopi and Epstein to ask for his flippin' plane. But that doesn't say that she's done anything wrong. I love how she wants to, in full transparency, give you all the details. Where was that for Trump?
They're also
on anything.
The same, right? And I thought I sent both clips because there's also a section of that where it's like, we want you to release the Epstein files, but not like that. Because Trump's name is in the Epstein files for calling the cops on Trump. I mean, on Epstein
and Ghislaine Maxwell.
Right. But Whoopi's name is in there asking for a plane.
and borderline almost working with the intelligence community to pinpoint who they needed to uncover what Epstein was doing. But we don't report on. They don't report on.
Borderline, like he did. He was an informant. Like, so release the Epstein files, but not that.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly. Well, Allie, you said that when you were at the White House, you had the pleasure of speaking with Erica Donald. She is somebody that we treasure and hold dear. But amazing. I saw this, in running for school board. I'm always like, I keep my head on the swivel for a lot of different ideas, and to be an innovator in that. But she is doubling down on what we're seeing across the nation with a lot of these third-party NGOs, a lot of money, even teachers' unions almost coercing students to walk out in protest of ICE. In some of the districts, like here in Sarasota, it's just not happening in schools. So I don't understand why they're saying this. But she goes on and on to talk about who really is in the driver's seat in a child's education. I think you're going to want to hear it. Take a listen.
Thank you. And this is what drives me crazy about it, okay, is there's no lobby group for the kids. You know, and this is something we learned post-COVID, is that the kids really seemed to be, I don't want to say they came in second. I don't think they made the medal podium in terms of the true motivations of the people who oppose school choice and stuff like that. You're obviously proof that the conversation is shifting dramatically, but I think in order to do so, it not only requires the work of you, but it was a lot of the parents who became a lot more vigilant after they saw what was coming home in the form of education, no?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. The interest group for students are their parents.
Yeah.
They're the ones who know their students best and love them the most. And that's why it's so important that organizations like ours are empowering parents, letting them know what they can actually do to affect change, not only in the system overall, but for their individual family, how they can access school choice options, what they can do to select the program that's right for their children, hopefully if they're in a school choice state. But if they're not, how to get active at school board meetings and become their own activists on behalf of their children and the children in their community.
Yeah, amen.
We can bring it back, David. Thank you. Yeah, amen to that. I mean, what do people take issue with? The fact that she's actually reaching out to parents and letting them understand what their choices are. I just...
You know, and it's for someone who has been a part of, I mean, she was a school board member.
Yeah.
And obviously then, you know, when she was a school board member, things were very different. And a lot of the information was not widely available to what we currently have now. And you are allowed to change your worldview. You are allowed to change your stance. And you are allowed, when you are given new information, to have a different opinion. However, social media and people that don't do anything but sit in their parents' basement and complain, but are not civically active, always have something to say, but you are always judged by people that do less than you. So, or are jealous of you for their own reasons because you amplify something that they can't be, or they think that they can't reach. So my point in saying all that is she has been a huge advocate for school choice, because whether the money follows the child or not, it's still public school.
Yeah. It's still funded by taxpayers.
It is 100%. And it gives children the option. You open the market.
Absolutely. And you know what? Everybody who's got a great product does not mind a free market. It's only when you miss the monopoly that you once had that you start crying about the store that opened up across the street from you. Like, everybody understands that. I do, for the sake of time, Jade, I just want to say we are watching and monitoring what's taking place in the Middle East. There seems to be a bit of an escalation because, as you know, Donald Trump, it does have a red line in the sand when it comes to what we want to see happen as far as the right for people whose government is trying to squash their freedom and liberties. And you hear especially a younger community in Iran that's like, listen, we want what we see happening over in the West as far as freedom. So we're keeping our eye on that. J.D. Vance is really quick to say that everything is, things are not as dialed up as mainstream media is making it seem. But there does have to be an adult in the room who says we've had enough. So keep it locked here. We'll make sure that we update you as more becomes available. Can we give our viewers something cute and fun to leave on today?
Of course.
I asked my daughter, I was like, this was a couple weeks ago, and I was like, who is that? There's a family that takes their entire family skiing. the entire family goes skiing. And God bless you, because I'm too scared to do it. But it's beautiful. I kind of live vicariously through them because they go to these great mountaintops and they ski. But they're teaching their youngsters to do it as well. And this is how you know there's been great parenting. They mic up their toddler as their toddler's skiing down the slope. Take a listen. Chad Caton posted this. I just want you guys to take a listen to this.
Happy in America, really stand no one free. No one will forget the man who died to get that right to me.
Isn't that so cute? I love it.
Adorable. Oh my gosh, how adorable. Why wouldn't you want to hear that? That's just so cute.
It's so cute. It's cute. If you follow the family, I'm trying to see if he names the family here. Oh, he doesn't yet. But if you get a chance to follow them on social media, the one thing the family does, as they're posting videos of their kid, every time this child gets a little nervous, like there's a jump or something, the child sings. And I just, as somebody that's taught performing arts my whole life, I understand that those are the things, right? We cling to music, voice, all those things that we cling to kind of calm our nerves. And I just think it's cute that he chose God Bless America.
I know, it's amazing. It is so cute. It's Lee Greenwald's
God Bless the USA.
Yeah, it was so good. So good. I love that. I think that's cute. And parents, this is what we need. We need to bring back this love for our country. Yes, this honor, this reverence. Reverence is the right word for our country.
Hold it delicately. You are living the greatest experiment known to mankind. Guys, that's going to be it for us here on Open Mic with Allie and Michelle. We're grateful that you joined us. Make sure you like and share and subscribe. And join us here tomorrow at 10 a.m. Allie's going to catch a flight and be here in the studio. And things are always turned up when we're together. We'll see you tomorrow.
What do you do when the gas is high, inflation's up?